हेलो दोस्तों, कैसे हैं आप? सबका स्वागत है एक रिश्ता मीठा सा में। हमारी एक बहुत अच्छी सी सीरीज चल रही है पर्सनल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के लिए, जैसे कि जिसको हम कहते हैं द लाइफ एसेंशियल्स। तो जैसे हमने पहले कहा था कि लाइफ की एसेंशियल चीज़ें हैं, खुशी हो, शांति हो, सुख हो, समृद्धि हो, सक्सेस हो, फोकस हो, आपकी मेडिटेशंस में गहराई हो, रिश्तों में मिठास हो। तो इसीलिए हमने इसका नाम भी रखा है एक रिश्ता मीठा सा। और हमने एक और ख़ास बात आपसे कही थी कि सबसे ज़रूरी रिश्ता होता है अपने आप के साथ। अगर आपका अपने साथ रिश्ता मीठा सा है तो जाहिर सी बात है कि आपका हर रिश्ता मीठा सा हो सकता है। और अपने साथ अगर आपका रिश्ता मीठा है तो दोस्तों, जानते हैं आप क्या चीज़ आप करते हैं और क्या नहीं करते हैं? जी हाँ, बिल्कुल ठीक सोचा आपने। पहली बात तो यह है कि अपने आप के ऊपर क्रोध नहीं करते हैं। एंगर बहुत वाइल्ड सा इमोशन है। तो इसको अच्छी तरह से समझने के लिए, इसका इंट्रोडक्शन देने के लिए मेरे साथ आज डॉक्टर कुलदीप हैं, जो लाइफ कोच हैं, 1-to-1 कोचिंग भी करते हैं। और मैंने आज उनको बुलाया है यहाँ अपने पास स्टूडियो में। तो मैं आपको हैंड ओवर करती हूँ डॉक्टर कुलदीप को, जो बताएंगे एंगर क्या है, इसकी वजह क्या हो सकती है, और शायद कुछ हिंट्स भी देंगे डॉक्टर साहब। ओवर टू डॉक्टर कुलदीप सिंह। डॉक्टर साहब, आप बताइए ज़रा कुछ एंगर के बारे में हमें।
Thank you, Renuji. Is it okay if I speak in English or a mix?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, anger is our response to helplessness or frustration which is caused by a situation or a person. You know, in life we always have some expectations from situations as well as persons. And when those expectations are not met with, we feel frustrated or helpless, and that leads to anger. That in fact manifests or is expressed in the form of anger.
मतलब जो इमोशन हम एक्सप्रेस करते हैं जब दूसरे हमको हेल्पलेस फील कराते हैं, ये आप बोल रहे हैं, तो exactly. वो इमोशन को हम एंगर।
Exactly.
वंडरफुल। अच्छा, फिर
so now you can take it in this way also, that anger is basically whenever there is some kind of obstruction between our achieving of the goal, then it all leads to anger. Say, if you notice a small child when he's playing with a ball and you suddenly try to snatch his ball, what does he do? He becomes angry. He starts crying. And perhaps he may even kick you. Because you are becoming obstruction to his goal of playing. He is playing with his ball and you have just snatched his ball, so his goal is obstructed.
So his goal of achieving pleasure out of his game is
exactly whatever. I mean, pleasure or achieving the ultimate in the goal. So he feels frustrated, helpless, and then the anger comes.
Okay.
Anger, you know, it is one of those negative emotions which we want to keep.
You want to keep it?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, this is a very unique thing in this, that other type of emotions we always say that we want to change ourselves. If at all we want to even change in case of anger, we still don't have a very strong motivation for it. You know what happens is anger is one emotion where we always blame the circumstances, situations, or the other person. Whereas in any other negative emotion, we always blame us. And that is the reason we always want to keep it. Because we want to correct that person, or we want to correct that situation or overcome that situation.
Okay.
Not realizing that the anger is within us, it is a frustration because of our shortcoming. And if we work on ourselves, we'll get rid of anger.
Oh.
So this is also called the paradox of angry person. This unique thing of anger.
Okay.
Now, you know, as a matter of fact, anger is all within us. I would like to share a story with you, but before that I'll just tell you that what happens exactly is that we get triggered because of the situations and persons. They become our triggers to manifest this anger. All throughout our life, we have been giving meaning to things or persons. That is our nature. From beginning, as a child, we are taught or we experience that anything we experience in life, we start giving a meaning to it. Something which gives us pleasure, it is good for us. Which doesn't give us pleasure, it is bad for us. So now what happens is, by giving meaning to everything, every situation, and the stories we tell ourselves, if we keep telling negative stories to ourselves, that we can't do this, we can't do this, we are short, we are having shortcomings and all that. So this all gets triggered when there is some difficult situation in front of us, or some difficult person, or the person. Sometimes we do say that my hackles get raised by seeing this person. This is all because of this. And now I would like to share a metaphorical story which is doing rounds in Facebook and even on WhatsApp also. So there was a person who was about to catch a flight. He was waiting, his flight was not as yet announced. He thought that might as well I grab a cup of coffee. While he was just buying his coffee, his flight was announced, and he just in a hurry, he started running towards the gate with a cup of coffee in one hand and his briefcase in the other. And he just didn't realize that a person is coming from the opposite side, and he didn't even see him. So he just banged into him and his coffee got splashed. So he became angry. And he, out of anger, he told the other person, asked the other person, why did you spill my coffee? The other person just looked at him and smiled. He said, because it was there. So he didn't understand, and he said, what do you mean? He said, because it was there. Had there been tea, then the tea would have been spilled. So if you look at this story, I mean, if you analyze this story, this means that whatever is inside us, it overflows, it spills, only that will come out. So what happens if you, in the morning when you press the toothpaste, the toothpaste only comes out of that tube, because there is toothpaste. If there is some other thing, then something other will come, like you, in a lighter vein, when in kitchen, when you press that pitchku, then the sauce comes out. So whatever is inside us, that will come out. So if our own feeling. If we are filled with the anger, then anger will come out. If we are filled with love, love will come out. So it is basically the stories which we keep telling us ourselves. Negative stories, they bring anger in us, negative emotions. Positive stories, good stories, they bring us love in us. So now, going further, I mean, anger, what does it do to you? What harm it does to you? I mean, if we start with this, first and foremost, it is the number one cause of our relations, breaking relations, breakups. Then the office work, it hampers. Also, the situation which is not good, bad situation, that gets worsened. And you may become aggressive also out of anger, out of frustration. Then last but not the least, you may get physical ailments also in the form of chronic stress, hypertension, or other cardiovascular diseases. Now, what is the mechanism behind it? You know, as human beings, we are the only privileged persons of having a thinking brain, which is called human brain. At the same time, our animal brain is also retained during evolution in us.
That's interesting.
So now the aim of this animal brain actually is survival.
Oh.
It wants to keep us always safe and alive.
Okay.
So first and foremost, whenever any stimulus, any information, it comes to the animal brain, which is called amygdala also. And the role of this amygdala is like a computer. It keeps all the files of your past experiences, good or bad.
Okay.
And it works on that. The moment the information comes, it immediately correlates with the previous file, previous experience. If it matches that, accordingly it responds. If it is bad, then it responds in a bad manner. If it is good, it responds in a pleasant manner. Now, but this response is automatic. It's like a reflex action. So there is no time there is no thinking involved in this.
Okay.
There is no choice in this. But if this information is allowed to go to the thinking brain or the forebrain or the human brain, then there you can analyze that information, and then you can say, no, it is not that too bad. And you perhaps...
Whether you become proactive.
Yeah, you may become proactive. You will have choices to deal with the same situation.
Okay. Otherwise you deal out of reaction.
Otherwise you deal out of reaction.
And fear and all.
Now what happens is, generally these reflex actions, they are producing adrenaline. And say, take example, we can compare an angry man with a athlete or a short distance runner. What happens when a short distance runner just is standing on his mark? The moment the referee says, take your marks, get set, a lot of adrenaline is flowing through him. The amygdala is just flowing. It's called fight and flight mechanism. There are only two types of mechanisms in survival: flight and flight. So both in these, there is rush of adrenaline. And now in case of athlete, what happens? He will run the race for next 10, 20, 15 seconds, and this adrenaline will be used by the muscles. So the adrenaline is utilized and he becomes all right. That doesn't harm. But in case of an angry man, this adrenaline is being secreted the same way, but it is not being utilized. So what will happen? It goes and settles down in those muscles and those body parts and causes chronic stress and other ailments.
Interesting. Okay.
So how to deal with this?
That is the most important question. How to deal with it?
Like the wise philosopher of Greek, 2000 years back, Epictetus, he said that we choose to overreact to the obnoxious behavior of others.
Okay.
But it is not that we don't have to actually do that. If we just be proactive and make better choices, then there are so many other choices to make. Now how do we do that? How do we let the information seep from amygdala to our forebrain? That is the only crux. If we allow the information to go till our forebrain, then perhaps our response will be different. Our response may not be that severe like anger. So there are modalities like yoga, pranayam, emotional freedom techniques, EFT we call it, and there are many more others also. Meditation, of course, one. We teach it in our courses and whenever we have our programs.
Okay.
So just for the listeners, I will say that I'll discuss one small aspect of it. There is Anulom Vilom. That is one of the pranayams. A very good pranayam. This is very popular these days, and most of you must be knowing it also. That you just do alternate breathing. You breathe in from your left nostril and then breathe out from your right, and then again breathe in from your right nostril and breathe out from your left. And this becomes one cycle, and you can do up to 9 to 10 cycles, 5 minutes.
Just to calm your mind.
Just to calm your mind. The brain, midbrain gets activated, and your left and right hemispheres, they get balanced.
Okay.
And in the bargain, what happens is you get that you become habituated to this, and over a period of time, you always will give I mean, whenever there is a situation, you will not react to it, but there will be always a time lag, and that time lag is good enough to let the information go to the forebrain, where you can always analyze it, that it's not too bad.
That's a
Not,
thinking brain, जो
that thinking brain.
Okay.
Like in good old days, people used to say, okay, whenever you are feeling angry, count till 10.
Oh.
That was the same thing. You can do that also. That is a very good technique. Or you can concentrate on your breathing. You just focus your attention at that time, or you do deep breathing. The moment you start doing deep breathing, automatically your focus goes to the process of breathing, and automatically your automatic negative thoughts, or the ants we call them, they get cleared from your traffic of your thought process.
That also helps in
because at the time of anger there are a lot many automatic negative thoughts just cluttering your mind, and when they clutter, your thinking goes power goes for a 6. So that's it.
Oh, that's wonderful, very informative, Dr. Kuldip Singh. एंड जैसे हमने आपसे सबसे कहा, डॉक्टर कुलदीप इज़ अ लाइफ कोच ऑल्सो, और वो आपसे ये बताते हैं, 1-on-1 सेशंस भी लेते हैं कि क्रोध की स्थिति में कैसे काबू किया जाए. अ वेरी इन्फॉर्मेटिव आई शुड से जो हमारा सेशन रहा है. गुस्सा क्या है, जैसे बुद्ध ने कहा है कि तुम अपने क्रोध के लिए दंड नहीं पाओगे, तुम अपने क्रोध के द्वारा दंड पाओगे. डॉक्टर साहब ने भी यही बताया है कि आप अपने आप को हर्ट करते हैं, अंदर बीमारियां और स्ट्रेस पैदा कर लेंगे. सो आपको अगर कोई सवाल हमसे पूछना है एंगर के बारे में, या आपके लाइफ में आपको लग रहा है कि आप सांसों के द्वारा भी कंट्रोल नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, लाइफस्टाइल के वगैरह भी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो आप हमें लिख सकते हैं, मैसेज कर सकते हैं. डॉक्टर कुलदीप सिंह की वेबसाइट नीचे दी जा रही है, मतलब हम मेंशन करेंगे, आप उसको भी विजिट कर सकते हैं. थैंक यू फॉर लिसनिंग टू अस, एंड अगले एपिसोड में हम एक बहुत ही अच्छा सा आपके लिए और टॉक लाएंगे. आगे इसी सीरीज़ को हम डॉक्टर कुलदीप के साथ जारी रखेंगे. नमस्कार, अभी के लिए मैं विदा लेती हूँ. थैंक यू सो मच.